Hello everyone, I am Cheese and I hope you're all doing fantastic today. So, something happened in the world of manga which reminded me that I really hate a character, and that prompted this video. I was supposed to do another one, but my keyboard broke, so I couldn't write a script, so here you go, a very non-scripted kind of listy thing. I've usually tried to steer away from stuff I generally don't like, but hey, YouTube shines on negativity. And I will probably be doing another list of my favourite anime character tropes, so look for that in the future. Now on with the list. Important note before we start, these are my opinions and my opinions alone. And of course, as a content creator, my opinions are infallible and must be taken as gospel, but some of the choices here may be taken as slightly hot takes, so you have been warned. Number 5 on our list, making it my least hated of my most hated, that's a bit weird, is a bit of an odd take. That is the kind of happy-go-lucky idiot who fumbles their way through everything and somehow manages to come out on top. And more often than not, they also make friends with both friend and foe alike. Now, this is a bit of a weird pick, because some of my all-time favourite characters also embody some, if not all, of these characteristics, but it's a very hit-and-miss kind of character trope. If it's done really well, you end up with someone like Luffy, who is just absolutely amazing, and if it is done without so much nuance, the end result is someone like Naruto, who is kind of fun at the beginning, and then just slowly progresses into being more and more infuriating as the show goes on, and therefore this earns the number 5 slot on my list. Number 4 is the kind of no personality and often no intellect, only existing to be horny, kind of hentai, not hentai protagonist, harem protagonist, also present in hentai, but that's a different discussion. These kinds of characters are relatively rare nowadays, and that's because even the ecchi shows have started to come up with a bit more nuance to both the storytelling and the characters, but a good example would be someone like Issei from High School DxD. The reason why this is number 4 on the list is because the end result is pretty much just meh, without actually like bringing anything to me, and therefore it's not the biggest problem to have a main character like this, but it just doesn't really bring anything either. So it's kind of a neutral hatred. They won't ruin a show for me, but at the same time, I will never go actively looking for a character like this. Or for a show featuring one for that matter. And then we get to the top 3 of my most hated anime character tropes, and if taken too far, these can ruin an entire show, or in some cases, almost an entire genre for me. Out of these, number 3 is the edgy Mac edgelord character, just for the sake of being edgy. The only saving grace is that almost always, when a character like this is introduced, they are given some kind of a childhood trauma, or trauma otherwise, that at least strives to explain their current situation and personality. That being said, it's kind of a slim hope that this makes it any better. Probably the best example I can think of is Kaneki Ken from Tokyo Ghoul. Now, I get it, the entirety of Tokyo Ghoul exists to be edgy beyond reason, but still. The main problem I have with edgy characters is A, it's really overdone at this stage, and B, as a show progresses, this gets really old, really fast. Doesn't necessarily ruin a show, but it kind of gets to the point where the edginess gets so much that I just stop watching. So, there's my reasoning why this is number 3. And then we get to number 2, which is probably the most timely of them all, and to explain that, if you have followed My Hero Academia, I am sure in the manga you are now familiar with the fact that Bakugo is presumed KIA. I'm sure he hasn't died because it wasn't really shown properly, as far as I understand. But the character trope in question is the one that Bakugo embodies exceedingly well, and that is the raging asshole. Half of their personality consists of having severe anger management issues in trivial situations, among all other situations, and the other half of their personality is to be an asshole to everyone and everything around them, and really you would hate a person like this in real life beyond reason, and them being in anime form doesn't make it any better, except you don't have to interact with them. Before we get to our number 1, there are 2 honourable mentions. The first one is the kind of pointless damsel in distress character, often portrayed as being very annoying. Probably a very good example, and the best one I can think of off the top of my head, would be someone like Shirahoshi from One Piece's Fishman Island arc. They essentially just contribute nothing, but at the same time I don't feel like they've earned my scorn enough where they would make it to the list. And the other one who I find infuriating, but again haven't warranted a number on this list, would be the kind of really overblown yandere. Probably the best example would be Yuno Gasai from Mirai Nikki, where it's kind of like with the edgy character, where they just take the one thing way too far, but at the same time I hate the yandere aspect less than I hate the edgelord, so again, there's the reason why they haven't made this list. And then we get to number 1. The one anime character trope that has pretty much ruined an entire genre for me, and as an example character, another pretty spicy take. And that is, of course, none other than the Mary Sue/Gary Stu isekai protagonists who are super powerful and infallible and highly intelligent, and everybody wants them because they're so attractive and perfect in every way, yada yada yada. You know the drill by this point. And of course, the most well-known example is none other than Kirito from Sword Art Online. Really, this kind of character is just an epitome of lazy writing. They take away any excitement from the story. Not that modern isekai would have that much excitement in it anyway. But yeah, the biggest crying shame is that a character like this can be written well. But 99.9% of the cases, that's not what happens, and you end up with a 6th million iteration of Kirito. And it's fucking awful. And with that bombshell, this concludes my list. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, this was a bit all over the place because it's completely unscripted. It was actually surprisingly fun to do, and therefore I will be doing, in the near future, my favourite anime character tropes, and no big surprises, number 5 on this list will also be making an appearance there, which is why it's a bit of an odd one, as already mentioned previously. But if you enjoyed this, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy this, leave a dislike. If you disagree or agree or have other varying opinions, I would be delighted to hear them in the comments section below. If you want to just generally come and hang out, follow me on Twitter or follow me on Twitch. I'm also live there every now and then. There are links to that stuff in the description down below. I have been Cheese, and I hope to see you guys next time with more anime goodness. Ta-ta for now.